bless you guys. I'm pretty excited to be here. Pretty excited to take you guys out there. Things to show you, things to see in the first place. Welcome to downtown Juneau. I know, it's a metropolis of all happening things in the world. How does one contain themselves? It's not easy. But one thing I like to point out, what was that?
You have a Walmart?
I hate to give it away, but we were going to pass a Walmart out this way. Well, not here in downtown, but you'll see. That's part of my tour, don't you worry. I'd like to point out all the classy things in Juneau. Just like this pile of trash over here with all the ravens digging around in it. That's why these guys had me get paid the big bucks. So right in front of us we do have the Red Dog Saloon. That is the third original location of that building right there. It has little swinging doors in the front and a soft... What? I'm so distracted by all these. Look at that. Try not to hit that. Or this. Boom. Like a boss, you guys. Sawdust floors. Everything else you could possibly want to be reminded of a better time. And right down the street also, you're going to find the Alaskan Hotel. That is the oldest hotel in all of Alaska. It's about 130 years old, still going strong. There's a bar inside of it called the Alaskan. Inside that bar, you can be in Alaska, drinking an Alaskan beer, talking to an Alaskan in the Alaskan.
Where's that?
Right down the Franklin Street. The main street that goes all the way up the street. On the right-hand side. You can't miss it when you go down there.
Cool.
As we pass our City Hall building over here, you're going to see this beautiful mural on the right-hand side. It's a Tlingit story depicting what happens when a naked man loses his contact lenses. That's not true. It's this theory of where man came from. If you look closely, we popped out of a clamshell brought down by a crow. Just throwing it out there. But the interesting thing about this area is 100 years ago, we would be in the water. Everything that we are driving on right now is part of the mining that we had here back in the 20s and 30s. All of the mine tailings that came out of this mountain to the right-hand side got pushed down to the edge of the mountain and slowly and surely got pushed out and built on top of each other. We got so dense they were able to build all of this right here. So the old steamships used to drop off far on the right-hand side. Now as we come through this area, if you look to the right-hand side, about halfway up that mountain over there, you are going to see a white colonial style mansion, brown roof, big columns coming down the front. Right after this, you can sort of see everyone right on top of there.
See it, Cameron? See the roof?
That there's our governor's mansion. That mansion was built in the early 1900s. You can see it coming over right here.
There you go.
There it is. Built in the early 1900s, it only cost about $40,000 to construct. About 5 years ago, they refurbished it, and it cost $2.5 million. Inflation, who saw that coming? But that governor's mansion has 14 rooms and 10 bathrooms, which just goes to show that politicians are full of really good ideas. And people always ask, did Sarah Palin live in that house? Truth be told, you guys, she did. For about 2 whole weeks before she moved her business elsewhere to Wasilla, Alaska. Right outside of Anchorage. But if you look over to our left-hand side, that body of land across the water over there, contrary to popular belief, is not Russia. That there is Douglas Island. Best known for the fact that it has a ski resort in the very center of the island. It's the only ski resort located on an island in all the world. This past winter they had more snow over there than anywhere in the lower 48. We're passing one of our middle schools here on the right-hand side. Next to the middle school, this is one of our high schools. Behind these buildings, you're going to find a state building and a federal building. And then next to that, you will find a retirement home. If you think about it, you could actually live out your entire life in this little half-mile radius we're in right now.
Hello?
And that is downtown Juneau, you guys.
Hey. We're on the
It's
first
tiny,
bus.
it's subtle, but it's there. On our left, we have the Aurora Marina.
Yeah.
This is one of 16 marinas that we have here in town. In fact, fishing is our third largest trade we have here in Juneau. Number 2 being tourism, thanks to you kind folks in the back and all those jewelry stores we have in town.
We'll catch you up later.
And our number 1 trade here in Juneau, obviously it's government.
Hook it up. Alrighty.
About half the people that do live in Juneau all work for the state. It's about 15,000 people all working for this beautiful government system we have set up here. So Juneau is about 33,000 strong in our population. It's been steady for that in about the past decade or so. Now, because most of Juneau that we'll be seeing today is sort of established and has all this residential area, it's not very common for wildlife to come down this far, such as bears. It does happen, not gonna lie. Always keep your eyes open. Although it rarely happens, animals do come down here. So definitely keep your eyes open all times for any sort of bear sightings. But what we are looking for today are eagles. Here in Southeast Alaska, we are about 40,000 eagles strong. But over here on the right is one of our more prominent spots to find them. They like to make their nests over here in these trees as we pass along here. Reason being is on the left-hand side is our local salmon hatchery. The salmon just started running about a month ago. So right now this building with the red top is filled with thousands upon thousands of salmon. It's kind of interesting. They were all born here and making their way back. So the eagles like to sit around here and look over the waterway for their free little buffet. Is looking for a salmon to come upstream. And only recently I researched exactly what is the difference between a male and female bald eagle. Granted, if you see one laying an egg, it's most likely a female. If you see them nesting together, the larger one tends to be the female, but outside of that, there is no difference. How funny is that? Can you imagine how awkward it was when they were in middle school and they went to a school dance and they didn't know who to ask. And then when they did ask, it may have gotten super awkward. I cannot get over this weather we're having. We had the same type of weather yesterday. We've been having record high rainfall this entire season. We've only seen the sun maybe 5 or 6 times over the course of the past 3.5 months. So the fact that we have blue skies today is astounding. And I cannot be more happy about the views you're going to see when we get to the glacier. On our right hand side is our local Walmart.
There you go.
Like I said, it's a super Walmart, which makes us super classy.
You're really taking a picture.
We also have a Costco, Home Depot, Safeway, even a Fred Meyer's, which we're also going to pass soon. A lot of people from neighboring areas, such as Sitka or Skagway, make their way up here on their boats. They use our large department stores to fill up their boats for the winter time. They are like chipmunks that way. Extremely good climbers, so check them out for the top of the trees and the bottom. We also have porcupine out here, which are adorable. I saw a porcupine the other day yawn. My heart melted. They are also really good climbers. They like to eat the bark off the tree, and they like to eat the siding off the houses, I found out. A lot of people wake up 2 o'clock in the morning to hear a gnawing sound on their wall. They have to go out there and knock the old porcupine off. And our first view of the glacier is right here on our left. Oh, this is an amazing view with the shadows coming off the mountains. So you guys are in luck today. Let's see, so we have tons of time here, you guys. Those little wristbands I gave you will get you into the visitor center. I do believe that opens at 8 o'clock though, so we got about 15 minutes for that. So maybe you want to go down by the water's edge first, jump on an iceberg. They're still out there. It's very exciting stuff. But do make your way up to the visitor center. They have some stuff up there, some activities, a movie to watch. You get a good lay of the land. You can grab a map. There's some trails that take you out further to the glacier, not on the glacier, but closer to it. They have a big waterfall over there. Please do not bring food or drinks into the area, which means you are allowed to leave things on my bus. I will be the one waiting for you guys right behind where we just came from. So leave anything on the bus you like, no food or drinks. I would bring a jacket, can get a bit chilly. So I'm picking you guys up at 8:55, because I have to be at Allen Marine by 9:15, according to this little post-it note here. So 8:55, just keep in mind I'm in 1139 is my bus number. And look for this guy, Scott Rob. Does that make sense, everybody? If you have any questions, I'll be right outside, making sure nobody falls off the bus.
The Mendenhall Glacier.
Daddy, see the waterfall.
Yeah. You want to go over there?
What? No, the waterfall is over there.
I see it. Over there. You gonna touch the water? You go touch the water.
Okay.
Don't get in it, just touch it with your fingers.
It's cold, Dad.
It's cold?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wonder why?
I
It's like ice water.
Uh-huh.
Big chunks of ice there.
Son, check that ice big guy. Okay, son, I want you to be in this. No.
Come on, son. Let's take. Have it.
Hmm?
You have your chance.
What do we call it? Nugget Falls, I guess.
Nice, Jack.
She's still seeing things that she never would have seen. She's still seeing things she's never would have seen. It's beautiful.
Oh, we're going whale watching on the St. Maria.
How you doing, man?
Well, yes, there are fish in the water, dude. There are fish in the water.
Hi, good morning.
Thank you.
I love your shoes.
Good morning.
All right.
Stop here. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. Thank you.
We have ranging from within two Starwood, caramel corn, salmon jerky, sandwiches. We also ask that you recycle anything you buy for any recyclable. Also reuse your cups for coffee. And we do sell Coke products on board. Also, there's no sales tax, so the price is sitting and the price it is. So if you have any questions or any concerns, come back and ask us. We're always talking about it. Thank you very much. Do you travel to this part of the water? Let me go to this. Exactly where these animals are going to be. It's always a surprise. It's always different. And as I mentioned earlier, if you have any questions, feel free to ask any of us. Remember, we are fortunate enough to have some locals here on board with you as well today. Tour guide. So there's a wealth of knowledge. I managed to get
Right here.
all the way to the top of that
Stellar
green.
sea lion.
Something you don't see that often.
I didn't look out for that place. What on this side? Man, take a picture.
I think I do. Not far away there.
Tell them in the water.
Down in the water.
Yeah, in the water and on that thing. One's climbed all the way up in the
Like that green thing.
up in there.
Sit there and hold it. They all-
Yeah, 7 or 8 up in the water. Biggest one gets to go on there.
Those are our stellar sea lion again. And eagle glacier. Back in there.
Have you read it from that side?
It's on Saginaw.
There he is.
Play it.
You let the seal just jump up with that bubble. Oh, there he is.
Play it.
Oh, here he comes.
Play it. Come here. Is it on? Hold it.
Oh, there he goes. Whoa. Yeah, but I didn't. He said yesterday I was so worried about the picture. I was forgetting about worried about you miss it, what? Another one. Whoa.
Oh.
There's one right there. See him, Justin? There he goes. There's a tail.
Did you get it? Huh?
My favorite. Love it. Sometimes you can make elephant like that. Like there's on the water, so like when you get into your car, you can hear the whale. Yeah, it's crazy.
Now I've gone now.
There's one there.
And it's
Working against it.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah, it's reaching your card. I have a theory, but I don't want to use this at all. I have a theory that they reach for the sun. They, you know, they see the sun and they're like, all right, I'm happy, let's do it. But I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I said.
It's like a little bit more too. But really, I think if you want to see them, go to Hawaii in the winter.
I was.
Did you and you didn't see her?
I saw not even a sea.
Ah, great. When did you go? Oh, no. So our wheels go over winter. Have to be January, February. Because that's when our whales are there having babies. And the males
Yeah.
show off right now.
Yeah, I
Yeah. I was actually reading the news today. It was like not existing. It was right over there. About 11 o'clock. That was great. We've had yeah, we had there's another there like just below the surface. Oh, there's
Oh, here's one. Right there.
no, nothing in Hawaiian Bay. Yeah, I think they're here. They're on their way back. Yeah, one way.
Oh, look at that. Go up the town. Come on out.
Oh, there's a good picture. Oh, let's see. Yeah.
Herbert Glacier. Right there.
So I tried to say earlier, you notice these tide rips in the area? It almost looks like rivers. These tide rips concentrate the forage fish and act like a net. So that's why a lot of humpback whales will come to the North Pass area to feed.
sorry. Yelling man overboard in the back. It happened.
Man overboard.
Another one.
What are you doing? Stop it.
Oh, this goes a tail. Come on.
There it is.
There it goes. There it goes.
The tallest peak out there at our 4 o'clock is Nun Mountain, which is about 4,500 feet. So these peaks on the Coast Range Mountains are a lot taller. How did our about 10 o'clock position is Douglas Island. Douglas Island is an island you're familiar with it, whether you know it or not, because your ship is between Douglas, the front side where all the houses are, and the Juneau mainland, sitting in Gastineau Channel. So this is the back side of Douglas Island. If you were to go up and over that ridge,
On Island. Stop for lunch. Connected Bridge to. That's when the tide's low. When the tide's high, that goes away.
sound this cool today. Let's do my narwhal song. Narwhal, narwhal, swimming in the ocean, causing a commotion, cause they are so awesome. Narwhal, narwhal, swimming in the ocean, pretty big and pretty wild to beat a polar bear in a fight like an underwater unicorn. They got a big old facial horn, to the Jedi of the sea, they stop the crack from killing me. Narwhals, they are narwhals, narwhals, inventors of the shish kebab. There it is. Juneau Glacier was right here. Gives you a good idea that in the past half a century it's receded 2.5 miles that way. But the nice thing about living in a hotel though is they make my sheets for me. It's very little maintenance. The other day they actually cleaned everything. It was kind of weird, but I didn't complain. Questions? I'm all about questions. So speaking about bears, do you guys know how to survive a bear attack? No. Okay, that's one way to do it. Some people say you can run faster than the person next to you. Some people say ball up and pretend like you're dead. But unless they read the pamphlet too, they would know as well. You could carry a big rifle, that's a unique one, but kind of obvious. I wish I had thought of that. But, turns out you guys, I've researched this, and if we were all in the wilderness right now, and a bear came out, the best thing you can do is hold hands and make a circle around me. And I would be just fine, and I would always appreciate it forever and ever. Now here in Southeast Alaska we have all sorts of bears, the black bear, the brown bear, the grizzly bear. What was that? Oh, white bear. We don't have white bears here, but that was going to be my next question. What kind of white bear do we have?
I forget what they're called.
Brown bear.
You can say it. Oh, well, let me ask the question then. What other bear do we have here in Alaska that takes place or lives up north? Polar bear. It's a polar bear, you guys. Now, what color is a polar bear's skin?
Brown.
I heard black, and that is actually correct, guys, believe it or not. And then, what color is his fur?
He's got on a baseball cap. He's on 2 wheels standing up.
Just wonderful. That's interesting.
Look at it.
I heard someone say clear, and that is also correct. How is that possible? What sort of kookiness is going on here? Well, it turns out that they don't have fur at all. It's these little tiny tubes that cover their entire body. And it's kind of interesting. They're like pieces of fiberglass that are hollow. And since they're hollow, when they radiate heat, it gets caught inside that little fur. And sure enough, retains the heat to keep them warm up there in the frozen tundra. But here's the important part. How do you survive an attack against a polar bear? This could save your life one day. No. You could give it a Coke and some sunglasses, and you'll be just fine. So I believe everything that I learned on television.
You know everything on television isn't true.
He was kidding.
That's right.
He was being funny, Kevin.
Not really everything.
Do you guys know what somebody would say if they owned a deer with no eyes?
What?
I have no idea. I graduated from the University of Central Florida with a degree in drawing and animation. So I feel as though I am absolutely utilizing such skills.
Do you have any seashells?
You know, I say that sometimes and people don't think that's funny at all. So I stop saying it. They think all bad for me. So I'm going back to school. That's what this summer's all about, to raise money to afford a tuition down in California. It is yet to be determined my new major. Maybe bus driving, I don't know.
could be like the ice truckers up north.
Moose family.
Or I could get my pilot's license. Because speaking of pilots, you see that transition I just did there? On the right hand side, we are passing our international airport. That's right, you guys. It's considered international because it makes 2 flights a week to Whitehorse, Canada, the capital of the Yukon. Now, our little airport over there is pretty famous, in fact, because it had an incident there. Only one that we know of in the history of the world. It is a plane-to-salmon collision. How's that possible, you might ask? Turns out that a plane took off at the same time that an eagle had picked up a fish from the river. It got startled, dropped the salmon, went into the turbine of the engine. They had some technical difficulties, so they spun it around, they landed it, the engineers went through it, and they actually found parts of that salmon left over. Did they eat it? Most likely. It's Alaska. These people are kind of weird. So a lot of people in town like to call that fly fishing. Well, they got the plane back out there. It did retire a couple years later, and it's on display now, and they nicknamed it the Salmon 30 Salmon. You see a great view of the Juneau Valley over on our right-hand side. To give you a good idea, it was thousands of years ago. This whole area over here was completely covered in glaciers. That's what carved out all this land to be so flat between here and Douglas Island.
Does an eagle only eat salmon?
Do you guys know what somebody would say if they had a deer with no eyes and no legs? I still have no idea. But hey, coming up on our left-hand side, I think we should be able to see it today. At the very point of where these 2 mountains meet, in the very center of Walmart, you're going to see a white piece of land there at the very base of the mountains, or top of the mountains, that there is another glacier, known as the Hardy Glacier.
It would be more exciting if we were mountain goat.
One day I'm sure they're going to name it the Walmart Glacier, as it slowly takes over our country. Some people often wonder about what's the true history here in Juneau? Where did it come about? Well, hundreds of years ago, there were the First Nations people, known as the Clicket Indians, who lived here well before us. They lived off the land right by Auk Lake, by where the whale watching took place. And it wasn't until about 130 years ago, these 2 men came into town by the names of Richard Harris and Joseph Juneau. The 2 of them came looking for gold and found exactly what they were looking for in what is now known as Gold Creek. After they found the gold, they went back south and they bragged about it. And sure enough, started the gold rush up here. In fact, this town was originally known as Harrisburg, Alaska. And eventually, they felt as though there were too many Harrisburgs here in the United States. So they decided to change it to either Richardsville or Juneau. Legend has it, Joseph Juneau took everybody out drinking the night before the vote. And sure enough, this place is now known as Juneau, Alaska. And I'm sure between all of your stops so far, you've seen our Alaska flag a couple 100,000 times. In fact, our flag has 8 stars on it. We have the 7 stars at the bottom, making the Big Dipper, and the North Star at the top, making all 8. They are golden color to represent all of the gold we have found here.
Stars.
And the dark blue color is actually a symbol of our deep waters surrounding us. Approaching our salmon hatchery right now, and we're coming up on Salmon River, or the Salmon Creek. This is one of the rivers that we get our hydroelectric power that powers all of Juneau. Between this and the Taku River, the two rivers actually power everything we have here in town. I'm going to try to slow down a little bit. If you look into this river on the right-hand side, you should see about 1,000 salmon trying to clamber up their way upstream right now. See little fins and everything sticking out of the water, and they're going to be on top of each other. That's why it's so turbulent right there. Also noticing that all the flags here in town are at half mast, and surprisingly enough, nobody has asked me between you guys and the other group I picked up why it's like that. Well, I researched it, so I might as well bring it up. Turns out, so I can feel super intelligent, it has to do with a fallen war hero that served in Afghanistan. His name was, I got this, Sterling William Wyatt was his name, and he recently passed away. And Alaska is one of 3 other states that have all our flags at half mast in honor of him. We also passed the salmon hatchery, and you may have seen there was a sign on there saying there's a big salmon derby next month. It's a bit of a fun little competition they have here. It's pretty pricey to get your way into it, but nonetheless, if you do happen to catch the largest salmon in those 3 days, you actually end up winning $10,000.
Who's that? They swim.
And before the competition starts, they do tag, I think, 2 or 3 of the salmon all out here along the channel. If you can catch one of those salmon during those 3 days, you win $100,000.
Fish are just jumping.
The saddest part about it is if you catch that salmon after the competition is over, you get nothing. So the other fun part about Juneau was our big gold mines we had here in the 20s and 30s. During that time, we had 3 gold mines here in town. There were 2 right here on the side of downtown Juneau, and 1 across the way over at Douglas, known as the Treadwell Mine. Between those 3 gold mines, they got out about $158 million in gold, and that was in the 20s and 30s. Today's standards, that'd be well into the billions of dollars. They do say there are still trillions of dollars left in these mountains around us, but unfortunately, due to environmental protection acts, there is no means to safely get rid of mine tailings any longer. So until they can think of a new way that is environmentally safe to mine in this area, they are not allowed to touch these mountains. 1 ounce of gold nowadays goes for $1,500. That much gold, which means on every one of my off days, I'm out there panning for gold. I think so far I'm up to about $1 or $2 so far. Not a very good gold panner. But when you do find it, it is the best feeling in the world. I told my boss I wouldn't quit until I made my first $1 million. She didn't seem too worried. And my other favorite fact about Juneau is the fact that we have been voted the most beautiful Capitol building in all the United States. But ironically enough, our Capitol building has been voted the ugliest Capitol building in all the United States. Reason for that is it wasn't always our Capitol building, it was our federal building originally, and they moved the federal building to that skyscraper on our left-hand side. Side note really quick, this creek we're passing over right now, known as Gold Creek, this is the same creek that Joseph Juneau found gold 130 years ago. That's where I go gold panning. Still waiting for it. But nonetheless, you guys, it was originally a federal building. And the post office was on the 2nd floor of our Capitol building now. And due to some strange law, the post office has to be on the 1st floor of every Capitol building. So instead of moving all the equipment from the 2nd floor down to the 1st floor,
someone thought to themselves, why don't we just change the name of the floors? Sure enough, you guys, the first floor is now the ground floor, and the second floor is the first floor. And they got away with it. That's the old Alaska way of doing things. Darn right it is. So alright, you guys, I believe I promised you a second song. Let's get ready for this, because I can see your ship over there. We're getting super close. I have to really belt this one out. In 1867, we called up old Russia and said we'd like to buy this land from ya. And then two men came to this town we know. Their names were Rich and Juneau. They hopped up on their sleigh, screamed mush mush, and that's what started this here gold rush. Gold, 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 gold. We had mines, but now they're gone. Gold, 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 gold. That's what we're driving on. Then in 1959, they made this place a state. They called this the capital, despite the great debate. But if this were still Russia, that song might sound like this. Hey, 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 Igruski Maduparabooter beer. So everybody back there can actually speak Russian. So let's fast forward now to this very day and time. You're sitting on my bus, listen to me sing and rhyme. Your guy's name is Scott. Scott, that's me, who works here in the summer for It isn't very fair. I don't know what to do. Come so close to just say I do. We talked about my ex, and then about some bears, and lots of other things. But did you really care? The only other word that rhymes is Nebraska. So let's give it up for Alaska. The postcards say. You guys, it wasn't painful, but it wasn't easy. I don't know what's going on with my voice. Oh, that's not the first time I've heard that. Darn it. That's the opposite of what's supposed to happen. Curse that Batman. I'd say it was the best tour of my life yesterday. I thought it was hilarious. People just kind of stared at me. Because there's no nighttime here in Juneau, it's always light, so Batman doesn't get work.
No.
And we have a governor's mansion, which I call Wayne Manor. But the fact that I couldn't tell him that the Batcave was underneath it because it's a secret, that didn't go over well either. But then I saw the movie last night, not gonna lie, guys, it was pretty good. That's one of the appeals of living here in Juneau versus Skagway. There's a movie theater here. Oh yes, there's two actually. There's one in downtown and there's one in the valley. Nonetheless, you guys, hey, we're going to be right by your ship momentarily, right across from the t-shirt factory. So you guys have like 35 whole minutes to run across the street, run back over there, get on the ship, eat some bacon for me. Did I mention I love bacon?
Yes.
Do you guys have crispy bacon on your ship?
Yes.
Yeah. You guys are so lucky. The Mississippi state flag. We have all the flags of all the states along this whole road because we're the capital. The very first ones we came across on the left-hand side was Alaska, and on the right-hand side was the Florida one. It's a very near and dear intersection to me.